Lycra, also known as spandex, is a fun fabric that we covered in our featured fiber article in the June-July issue of Kiki magazine. Featured Fiber is the super cool article series that explains textile properties in popular textiles and lists fun experiments to better understand those properties. After watching this video with tips on sewing Lycra, you can read more about Lycra in Kiki, which can be found at Barnes & Noble, Michaels, and at kikimag.com. Lycra is a super fun material, and you've probably noticed it in bathing suits and dance costumes. Lycra is so unique because it can completely stretch in all directions and bounce back to its original shape. But it is extremely difficult to sew. The stretchy and slippery qualities of fabric are the biggest challenge. So here are some tips for sewing Lycra. When cutting Lycra, use super sharp scissors so you can get a clean edge to sew. See how I am trying to get as smooth and straight of a line as possible? When pinning Lycra together, overpin. Pin 3 times as much as you would normally pin to prevent it from slipping. So this is my example of pinning, but you could even pin more if it makes you more comfortable. You can try carefully sewing over the pins with the machine or pulling them out as you sew along. I'm going to show you a couple of stitches and how they work on Lycra or spandex. Here is what it looks like to sew a regular stitch on stretch fabric. See how when I pull it the thread breaks? That's why you need to pick a stitch that stretches with the fabric. For a straight stretch stitch, try to say that 10 times fast. And that's also its name. You can look at the stitch that looks like it's 3 straight stitches next to each other. Here's what it looks like on my machine. And this is how it sews. It goes forwards and backwards. It takes a while, it uses a lot of thread, and it's very hard to rip out if you make a mistake. But it's super strong and it stretches with the fabric. Zigzag stitches are great for stretch too. Here is how a zigzag stitch stretches. It's pretty good, but probably not enough strength for extended use. There's another zigzag stitch that is even better called the double rickrack stitch. When looking for it on your machine, it looks like 3 zigzag stitches put together, just like the straight stitch. This stitch will go forwards and backwards when sewing, also just like the straight stretch stitch, creating a super strong stretch zigzag stitch. This is what it looks like sewing and how it stretches. Have you ever heard of a feed dog? That sounds like a crazy name, right? Most home machines are drop feed machines, and the feed dog pulls the fabric through the machine while you sew. This is good for most sewing, but when sewing Lycra or spandex, the feed dog stretches the fabric while it's sewing, and this creates a ruffling looking edge. To get a straight edge, lower the feed dog so it doesn't stretch the fabric. This is the feed dog symbol on this machine. There is a knob on the side for how to change it. If you can't figure out how to lower the feed dog on your machine, you can try sewing your fabric over some tissue paper so the feed dog doesn't grab the fabric as much, and then rip the tissue paper off later. Make sure you don't pull the fabric while sewing either. But remember, the only way to get better at sewing hard fabrics is just to try and practice. So don't get frustrated if you get confused or make a mistake, because you're learning and you're getting better. If you like this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe below. Make sure you check out our other social media sites also that is linked in the description box below. That way you don't miss out on any of Kiki's awesome content.